And we're live on YouTube. Hello, everyone. This is Northstar College Study Skills Session 2. If you're joining us, welcome. Today we will discuss some of the things you should know about time management. Northstar College is a English language training institute in Hargeisa, Somaliland. And we're joined today by our instructor, Dylan Anderson, who will give a presentation about study skills and time management. Welcome, Dylan. Are you with us?
Yes, I am here, and I'm excited to speak to you today. We'll just wait maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes for anybody else to enter the stream.
Sure.
And then I'll get started.
I believe the link has been shared with everyone, and it should appear as well, and it should be open up for anyone else to join.
I see it already has a couple of likes.
For anyone who's here joining us today, we will have the chat open. So if anyone would like to comment or add questions in the chat, we will answer them and respond to you. So feel free to use the chat. I think we're ready to begin anytime.
Okay.
Dylan, the live session will be saved and available for anyone to view later, and we'll share the link with our students so that they can review the video later if they're not able to join us right now. So please feel free to start your presentation anytime you're ready, and I will watch the chat and see if there are any questions that come up.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Northstar College's second study skills session, where I speak about the best ways to improve your English, improve your language at home. As Ian Rogers said, this video will be available on YouTube. To go back to the video after and try to pick up any new vocabulary words that you might have, that might be present in the video, or any new ideas. Although I do recommend trying to take some notes along with the live session to get the real experience. So anyway, study skills session 2. What I'm saying, the basic idea is to study less, but to study smart. You could also say study more efficiently. Pardon me. Study more efficiently, use your time better. That's going to be the basic idea of today. The outline for today, we're going to talk about setting goals. We're going to talk about good goals versus bad goals. We're going to talk about finding a time to study, high value versus low value studying, and planning your week. Okay. I'm going to try to give you very easy, very practical advice so that you can follow it at home and follow it every week. The first thing we're going to talk about is setting goals. So writing your goals on paper is a great way to start managing time and achieving what you want to achieve. And that's what we're going to be doing today. There's 5 words we're going to learn today. Um, they each begin with a letter that spells smart. So we're going to talk about what's called SMART goals. The S in SMART means specific. You should have a specific goal, not something that is general, not something that is kind of big, not something that will take a long time to do, but it should be a very specific plan on what you want to achieve. The second one is measurable. The second aspect of your goals should be measurable. They should be easy to count, basically. Like you should have something like 10, I want to learn 10 vocabulary words this week. And even if you do 7 words or if you do 12 words, you go over or you go under, it's okay as long as you can measure it. You can say, this week I was under my goal, this week I was over my goal. That's what measure means. Basically, you can count it, you can do something, you can measure it easily. The third one is actionable. Actionable means something you can accomplish. It shouldn't be something too big. It also shouldn't be something too small. It should be something that you know that you can accomplish. So you shouldn't have a goal of 10 grammar points in 1 week. Also, maybe you shouldn't have a goal of 1 grammar point in 1 week. It should be something you know that you can achieve. The R in SMART is relevant. So it should be related to your professional goals. If you're listening to this, you're likely either a student at university or you're professional in Somaliland, hoping to increase your professional, your professional standing, increase your professional worth, increase your value as someone in your profession. So you should learn English that is related to your professional goals. For example, I'm an English teacher. So there's a lot of English words I don't know. For example, if I was a doctor, I would know a lot more vocabulary related to medicine and related to being a doctor. But because it's not relevant to me, it's not related to my profession, I'm not going to spend time learning it. But if I was a doctor, I would learn those words. And then the last one, the T in SMART is time bound. So time bound means you have a time for your goal, basically 1 week or 2 weeks or maybe a month. I would say for now, don't go past 1 month. All of your goals should be within the frame of 1 month. So we will start with examples of bad goals, and then we will think of examples of good goals. So, examples of bad goals. The first one that most students say is they want to speak English fluently. Now, that is a good idea, and I think all of you are able to speak English fluently if you work hard enough, but it's a very bad goal to have. Why is that? Because if that is your one goal to speak English fluently, you will not feel like you've accomplished anything for a long time, and you'll feel sad. You'll feel like you haven't done anything, you haven't accomplished anything, you haven't achieved anything, right? And it's also not specific. It's not time bound. It's not saying within 1 week or 2 weeks. Another common goal that students have is they want to learn vocabulary. Again, what kind of vocabulary? Do you work in a bank? Do you work in the ministry? Do you work at a hospital? What kind of vocabulary do you need to learn? So you should ask yourself questions like that. I want to learn 300 new words every week. Now you can say, mashallah, you're working really hard. You have a high aspiration, like a high himma. You want to work very hard. You want to achieve a lot, but the goal is too big, and if you don't learn the 300 words, you'll feel like you failed. So it needs to be actionable. It needs to be a goal that you feel like you can achieve. So if you're, depending on your level, depending on what you know you can do, maybe it's 20 words in a week, maybe it's 40 words in a week, something like that. So I want to read long novels. Some people, they want to read books in English, which again is fine. That's okay, but it's likely not related to your professional and personal goals. Your studying should be really directly related to enhancing and improving yourself professionally. I've had students say, I want to read the dictionary. I'll just start at letter A and I'll go to letter Z and I'll just learn all of the words just like that. I think you're starting to get the sense of what a bad goal looks like. I want to learn all of the tenses. I want to read the dictionary. They just have these big goals without a real plan to achieve them. Now, let's look at an example of good goals. For example, I want to memorize 20 new past tense verbs this week. This is a SMART goal. It's easy to achieve, it's specific, and it's time bound, and it's measurable. If you only do 12 new past tense verbs this week, that's still good. You know where you are. You're under your goal, and sometimes maybe 1 week you do 25 new past tense verbs. That's over your goal. Another example is I want to learn how to write a proper email and use it in my work within 2 weeks. So you have a deadline, you have something time bound of 2 weeks, and it's specific. You have a specific goal in mind, and you know how you will apply it. Maybe you want to learn 5 new phrases and use them in conversation this week. So you can start the day using 5 new phrases, or like do a new phrase each day, maybe, and try to use that phrase throughout the day when you're speaking with someone in English. Maybe I want to memorize all of the vocabulary in the short video that our teacher sent us and write sentences with them. So maybe if you have a 2-minute video that you saw in class or a teacher sent you, it's a reasonable goal, it's an actionable goal to memorize the words in that video and to write sentences with them in your notebook. And then if you can, try to show them to a teacher and see if the teacher can correct them. So now we're going to see if we can write our own. Ian, do we have any more people watching? Does it look like we have any people to participate in this? Yeah, maybe. So I have the descriptions of each goal. S for specific, include a number of something or a name of a video or a name of a grammar point. M, measurable, something that is easy to see if you accomplished or not. If your goal is 10 words and you only do 7, that is still something and you're able to measure it. Actionable, something that you know that you can accomplish. Relevant, related to your work or your learning goals. Time bound, has a time period of a week, 2 weeks, or a month. So I'm going to not talk for maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes and see if any of you can think of your own SMART goals and put them in the chat so we can think about the goals together. Okay, so I'll just give you 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll continue with the presentation. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have many people writing their questions, which is fine. It's really something you can go back and check. I'm going to continue the presentation. If you feel like you can put in a smart question throughout the presentation, that's fine. I'll stop at an appropriate time and check your question out. Okay, so moving on. Next, we're going to talk about finding a time to study. We have 168 hours in a week. You should be able to devote 3 to 4 hours per week outside of your online work or classes to studying English. This means just 30 minutes in a day. Usually studying English is the hardest thing to fit in. It's the hardest thing to do in the day. Or let me say that differently. It's the easiest thing to not do in the day. You know, between our work, between our family, between going from one place to another, between eating, between, you know, basically anything we have to do every day. Studying English is the easiest thing to say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. It's the easiest thing to not do. So what I suggest is doing your English studying before work or before school. Many of us have time between Salat al-Fajr and the beginning of our workday. So it shouldn't be hard to fit in 30 minutes of studying in this time. If you finish the Fajr prayer at 5:30 and you start work at 7:30, that's 2 hours in which hopefully you can find a half hour to do some studying. And if you do that, if you study at the beginning of the day, for the rest of the day, you're free. You did your half hour of English. You did what you need to do, and you don't need to worry about it. And then anything you do for the rest of the day will be like a bonus. It will be like an extra that you do on top of the half hour. So you should view the 30 minutes as a minimum. And if you have more energy, try to do a little more than that if you can. So the 30 minutes is a minimum. If you have any more energy to study, you can go to 40 or 50 minutes. Next, we're going to talk about high value versus low value studying. Not all studying is equal. There are good ways to spend your 30 minutes and bad ways. Let's look at the bad and then the good. So bad ways to spend your 30 minutes. Watching English TV shows or YouTube videos without a pen and a notebook. Looking at your book, trying to memorize new words or grammar without the help of your notebook or an app. Spending time with something too advanced or too simple. It can seem fun to find more advanced materials and see if you can understand them, but it's a waste of time. It's not studying efficiently or studying smart, really, like we were talking about. You need to do something that is challenging for you, but not too challenging. Okay, now we have good ways to spend your 30 minutes. One way is to review recent vocabulary by using flashcards, writing sentences with them, changing the word forms, or any of the methods we spoke about in the first session. As a reminder, the first session is still on YouTube. You can go back and you can look at the methods for studying vocabulary we spoke about in the first session. The second thing is doing grammar exercises online, on paper, or in your book. You might ask, how do you find grammar exercises online? Well, it's pretty easy. You find, a sheikh Google. We all know this sheikh, mashallah. And you can say past simple exercises, and then you have 10,000 new pages, 10,000 exercises from Google to study. And then maybe you can write sentences or stories combining new grammar and new vocabulary together. So maybe you have new vocabulary, and maybe you're also learning past simple. So you could try to write a sentence with past simple and a new vocabulary word in the sentence and practice both at the same time. I tell my students here at Northstar College to watch YouTube explanations of grammar while taking notes. It can be helpful to compare what YouTube teachers say with your online program or the teacher. And once you start seeing, 2 or 3 different videos, and they start to repeat the main points, it's easy to kind of understand the main idea, the main usage, and the main goal of the grammar. And then finally, you can watch TV or YouTube with the subtitles while writing new vocabulary in your notebook. It's very important. If you watch it without a notebook, that's okay for free time if you want to relax and you want to watch some TV, okay? But if you want to watch TV, watch YouTube and learn, it's really important that you have a notebook and that you're pausing to write down new vocabulary as you go. Now, here are 2 example schedules, 2 ways of breaking down your 30 minutes a day. So one example is what I call 30-minute breakdown A. You can spend 10 minutes reviewing vocabulary, 10 minutes doing grammar exercises, and 10 minutes writing sentences or stories. What I call breakdown B, maybe you spend 5 minutes reviewing vocabulary, 5 minutes doing grammar exercises, and then maybe 20 minutes watching a YouTube video with subtitles while writing new vocabulary in a notebook. Excellent. Variety is key. Key means important in this context. So I gave you 2 example schedules to make it easy for you. It can be helpful to have a harder day while you study and an easier day. If you have a day where you mostly watch something on TV or YouTube, it can make it easier to motivate yourself to study. And then the next day will be a little more difficult with more exercises and more writing. You need to find a schedule that works for you. Maybe you have 3 different days, one that is the most difficult, one that is medium difficulty, and then an easy day. If you had 3 different days, you could go through them twice a week and then take a break on Friday. So, you could have Saturday, Monday, Wednesday be one day, and Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday be a second day. Excellent. The last message I wanted to send to you is that learning a language is a lifestyle. So if you really want to learn English, it needs to become a part of your life, not just a class you take twice a week. In addition to a half hour every day, listening to the news in English, following English pages on social media, or even listening to Islamic lectures in English can be very beneficial. My favorite English-speaking Islamic lecturers are Mufti Menk, Yasmin Mojahed, Bilal Phillips, and Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. Sheikh Hamza Yusuf is a little advanced, so if you feel you're a beginner or an intermediate student, I would stick with the first 3 names if you're interested in listening to Islamic lectures. And then the last message is to try to find easy ways to make English part of your daily life. This is easy now with technology. It doesn't matter where you live. So I will open up the chat to any questions or any answers that I can give. Damo Hagog, sorry if I mispronounced that, says improve vocabulary and email written skills. Excellent. Are you asking how to do those things? Are you asking like how to improve your vocabulary and how to improve the email written skills? Press yes, type yes in the chat. Excellent. We have a question from Northstar College saying, what is the best way to improve vocabulary? That's a very good question. To have a detailed answer to that, I would look at the first video, the study skills video number 1. But in summary, some things that you can do are to write sentences with the vocabulary words, to make flashcards on your phone, or just paper flashcards where you have maybe the Somali word in the front and then the English word on the back, and you have to guess the English word. Another thing you can do is change the word form. So if you have the word successful, you can, if that's an adjective, you can change that to success, which is a noun, or succeed, which is a verb. And for all of your words, you can try to find the noun, the verb, and the adjective forms of the words. Another thing you can do is, like I said, write sentences, write flashcards, write the word forms, and also use, you can use translation, going back and forth between Somali and English, and also use a dictionary to help you. The best thing about using a dictionary is that it is English to English. So you might learn more words in the definition of the word than you did um, than you did um, than you did just doing a translation. You can learn a lot more words using the dictionary. Now, I'll put in the chat the name of a good dictionary to use. It is called Merriam-Webster's Learner's Dictionary. I'm typing it right now. Good, I just put that in the chat, Merriam-Webster's Learner's Dictionary. The Learner's Dictionary is a dictionary meant for English as a second language learners. So the definitions are simple, but you still get the benefit of learning the meaning of new words in the English language. So that can really help. We have another question from Northstar College. Excellent. It says, Damo Hagog says, improve vocabulary and email written skills. Excellent. So I just spoke about vocabulary. For email, I would, if you have a teacher, if you're studying at Northstar College, you can ask the teacher for some resources. Otherwise, I would go onto YouTube and search like a tutorial, like how to write a proper email tutorial. And I'll write that word in the chat. Email tutorial. Excellent. Also, look online. Just search in Google, like maybe a template or any other ways you can see examples of what an email would look like, and just try to copy it with your own words. Learning specific forms like that, like an email or something like that, is really not that difficult, because online there are many examples of different emails forms that you can use, and you just look at the email online and replace it with the words that you need to use for your own email. And so, yeah, we have another question from Northstar College. You said it's a bad idea to watch movies in English without a notebook. How can you learn English watching movies? So movies or TV shows can be helpful if you do it in the right way. So for example, if you just watch it without any subtitles, it's very unlikely that you're going to learn any new words. It's just going to kind of pass through you. But if you take time to read the words along with the TV show or with the movie, you can learn the correct spelling of the words by reading them. You can also learn the meaning by seeing the situation in the movie or the TV show. And it can help you understand the word more because you can see the situation that the word is being used in. And so you can understand the context of the word. And then if you take time to write down the words, you can, just by enjoying the TV show, maybe after a half hour, you could have 10 or 15 new words from the TV show or the movie. And even if you don't know the exact meaning, you know how it was used, and you know what kind of situation it was used in. So it can help you understand the meaning better. And so for that reason, it can be really helpful to watch movies or watch TV and learn vocabulary from it. So I suggest it if you do it in the right way. It can be helpful if you do it in the right way. Good. Is imitation. I have a student, Abdesalam Salah. Welcome, Abdesalam. Is imitation a good way of attaining accent? That's a really good question. First, I want to say two things. There's accent, and then there's pronunciation. Pronunciation is just basic rules for how you pronounce words correctly in English. Whereas accent can be like a British accent or an American accent or an Australian accent, which is kind of a much broader, much bigger topic. So I tell my students, do not be so concerned about what accent you have. Because for example, I'm American and I have an American accent. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't learn a British accent. It would be very difficult for me to learn a British accent and try to speak with a British accent. So even for me as an English speaker, it's very difficult to learn a specific accent. That is very difficult. So I suggest to my students not to be concerned about accent as much as pronunciation. So if there's a word that you don't know how to pronounce, or if you're listening to a TV show or a movie, just pay special attention to the relationship between how the word is spelled and how the people say it on the TV show. And just, you can try to copy word by word, and that can help you with individual words and individual sounds. And that's the best way to do it. And generally, the more you listen to English, in general, if you watch TV, a little bit of TV, if you listen to the radio, if you listen to YouTube, the more you listen to it, you'll get a better sense of how to pronounce the words, and the correct way to say things. But in general, don't be concerned about an accent. So yeah, very good question. Let's see if there's anything else. Very good questions, everyone. Hopefully I answered your question, Damo. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, that might be good. Excellent.
Thank you, Dylan, for your presentation today. Fortunately, this is a live video that is also saved on YouTube, so anyone can watch it again and review if they missed the session today. And we'll have another one next week. This is our first live YouTube session, so please bear with us, and thanks for your patience. It's glad to know that it works and that we can continue doing more live YouTube sessions in the future, so that we can broadcast our study skills sessions for not only our Northstar College students, but the general community as well. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching this, and visit northstarcollege.com if you are interested in registering for English classes, either face-to-face or online. We have both. Thank you so much for viewing, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day, everyone.